Exactly a century ago, the South Wales valleys were the king of coal. In 1913, coal reached its peak production, with well over 600 deep mines employing nearly 250,000 workers and accounting for more than 30% of the world's coal exports. The economic depressions of the 1920s and 30s impacted greatly on the area, and the continued decline of heavy industry throughout the latter part of the 20th century saw significant environmental dereliction with scarred landscapes, coupled with social deprivation and issues with high economic inactivity throughout the region. The long journey to regreening the valleys has begun. The land has gone from black to green in a relatively short space of time, but the deeper scars of socio-economic decline will take far more concentrated and holistic efforts to address. The Valleys Regional Park vision is of a high-quality, sustainable network of green spaces, offering outstanding opportunities for economic, social and environmental regeneration. The Valleys Regional Park area covers the former South Wales coalfield. More than 1/3 of the Welsh population, over 1 million people, still live within the Valleys area. In April 2009, implementation of the Valleys Regional Park vision started in earnest. Over 40 partners have been involved in implementing that vision from right across the sectors. Through this holistic partnership approach, it seeks to support and develop a low-carbon green economy, encourage healthy lifestyles, offer outstanding outdoor recreation and learning opportunities, and provide a quality visitor destination. Since that time, through European funding, over £22 million of investment has gone into regional infrastructure projects, with more than 40 capital projects being funded to date, creating 200 jobs by the end of 2013. In addition, more than 40 interpretation projects and events will have attracted over 2 million visitors to the valleys, supported by more than 400 trained community tourism ambassadors. This capital investment has encompassed a whole spectrum of activities, from wide-ranging strategic projects to more focused investments such as those at Dare Valley Country Park and also Kidwelly Quays. So let's have a look at some of these projects.
My name is Cara Davis and I work for Groundwork Bridge Enniath for Talbot, and we're in Caira at the Caira and Bringlass Market Garden. This was a site of old flats which were demolished, so it was an old brownfield site, and we had some funding through Valleys Regional Park weekend programme to develop a sustainable urban drainage system, because this was liable to flooding and affecting the houses below it. And from that we developed the growing project to involve really the local community and children in particular in healthy eating. I think they've learned a lot about where fruit and veg comes from and what type of fruit and veg are available and how easy it is to grow it, especially for the children as well, to learn from a young age, about healthy eating and that they can grow this and it's cheaper than even buying it in the shop. I'm hoping that the sort of fruit and veg side of it will take off in more of a commercial way as well, supplying like the local businesses. There's quite a lot of local cafes keen to take fruit and veg locally, sourcing local produce, and I'm just hoping we're going to be a stream for that then.
Hi, my name is Andrew James, and this is our market garden. We've got raised beds here for the school, the local school. We got a polytunnel and the large polytunnel at the back. That's going to be grown for commercial use next year. We've got raised beds all along here. They're for plot holders, for the local community holders. And on top site there, we've got, I think there's 7 or 8 large allotment style growing beds. I think it's a fantastic resource we've got up here, because the whole community is getting involved. We've got local children from the school and local neighbours and they can grow their own things. I personally have reduced my food bill by a considerable amount just coming up here and growing. And what we also do is deliver fruit and veg to the elderly around here. Some people have never grown anything before, and this is a fantastic experience for them to come up here and actually get digging and growing and find it out for themselves how easily food can be produced. It's changed unbelievably. You take this 3 or 4 years ago was just wasteland, and to look at it now and what it's going to be in another 3 or 4 years is going to be awesome.
I'm Ryland Jones, I'm Deputy Director for Sustrans in Wales. Sustrans is a sustainable transport charity that basically promotes practical projects to encourage people to undertake walking and cycling activity for everyday journeys, really. In Wales we have about 1,400 miles of routes which is spread across the whole country, and what we particularly wanted to do in recent years was to develop the routes in the valleys. We already had about 250 miles of routes in the valleys, but we wanted to put about another 100 miles into that as part of the Valley Cycle Network project, which started 4 years ago. And that was really about bringing this old industrial heritage, this fantastic old infrastructure that we've got here in the valleys, old railway lines, canal paths, tram roads and so on, and bringing those back into use for the communities, for the people. This path here at Treforest-Tontig, or former railway path, is typical. We've got the old railway line, which until a few years ago was very much derelict, and we needed to bring this back into usage. I think as a result of doing that, we've already seen that we've now got over 35,000 users in the first few months of this path being open, and that's very typical of a lot of these routes that we've brought in. In some cases we have very many more than that using them, and what we're starting to see now is hopefully the economic spin-off from that. People starting to spend locally. One of the fantastic things about people, particularly things like cycle tourists, is that they can't travel very far, so they can't sort of stock up on large amounts of food and supplies before they come into an area for a holiday. If they're travelling through it, they'll want to spend locally, and that supports local businesses.
My name is Mara Sheen, I'm the Six Bells Communities First Coordinator. This is a Communities First led project. 4 or 5 years ago it was a burnt out public house. We worked with the local community to see about if we could renovate the building. So we formed a social enterprise called Six Bells Regeneration Limited. It was called Tir Bavark, which is a Bavark house as opposed to coach and horses, which is what it was known as before, to actually bring the Bavark Valley together. And the aims of the social enterprise is to provide training and local job opportunities for local people.
I'm Linda Evans. I'm a walk leader for Communities First, and I'll become an ambassador because I want to try and bring more visitors into the area to help them enjoy their trip even more. They can get more from us, and they can get that little extra bit from us as well. I mean, actually come and talk to people. You've got that bit of something extra, you know, like going the extra mile for your visitors.
As we have seen from the projects highlighted here, the last 4 years of Valleys Regional Park have been a resounding success, enhancing our existing environmental and heritage assets, making them world class, as well as creating new opportunities for community and private enterprise. The task now is how do we take this forward by rethinking how we work with our landscapes to create more prosperous communities through new jobs and training opportunities, to enhance the learning and life chances of our citizens, and to improve their health and well-being through creating more sustainable, vibrant and viable places.